Hey guys, for this week's Dota Diary episode, I believe we have to start you out with a little bit of a background story. So I'm going to go ahead and play this short clip from my game to start us off.
Freeze your soul.
I try to TP away, I die, and we proceed to lose our tower. So the reason why I showed you this clip is that I had a bad start to this game. And I'm also against a lot of heroes that kill me. I'm against offlane Legion, Skywrath Mage support, and even Batrider's quite the hunter type hero. So this is a game where I don't feel like I have much choice other than to farm a lot. Now that you have that background story, let's go ahead and get into the video.
Banana slam jam.
Needless to say, I queued up a Midas because I didn't feel like there was much else I could do. And that was the only item I had at 10.5 minutes into the game. And when we pull up the net worth charts, I'm at the absolute bottom of the cores. And I think it's also important to note that the enemy carry, the PL, is also having a tough time. And he has also elected to do the same thing. And the reason why I point this out is because the subject of today's video comes down to teammates having a huge problem with the way that you play. This is a problem that a lot of us struggle with. I've heard all about it, and I want you guys to know I struggle with it too. And I'm not here to defend myself today. I'm here to tell you guys that are the other teammates exactly what I would love to tell my teammates in this game if I had the time. But before we do that, I would like to point out that I got raged at by my Invoker when he saw that I had bought a Midas, and I proceeded to have to mute him as well as my Bane. So while I had the muting during the game, I was actually vibing, honestly. The game was going pretty well despite being a draw with a horrible start against a bad carry matchup in the PL. We were doing just fine. But oddly enough, my team was tipping me randomly throughout the game, and it actually made me curious because I had Gork on my team. It allowed me to actually go watch his stream back to see what exactly was going on within my team, while I honestly just thought the game was going fine. So I'm going to show you guys a quick clip from Gork's stream, mainly highlighting the communication of my teammates. Nothing really to do with Gork being toxic or anything like that.
I'll stay outside of pit. I need to regen mana.
Take us. Your top tower is under attack.
Come Rosh, stop playing arcade games, bro. Can you come Rosh?
You already ruined game.
Your top tower is under attack.
BSJ!
Fine, it's fine. We can rush us 3. It's fine. Let me tank.
So what I would like to point out about this example is that, I'll be honest, if you watch this game back, you guys are more than welcome to do so. It was from Friday, the September 9th stream that I played. I farmed pretty much all game, and I felt the need to do so. I did not do this because I was tilted. I didn't do this because I was pissed. It may be wrong, but I genuinely believed it was the correct way to win the game. And you can't believe how often I'll have teammates such as these that are telling me I am ruining the game. I would like to point out that I was pretty chill during this game. I'm not playing perfectly by any means, but I was pretty chill. I was farming my way towards Roche to help my team. Little did I know that they thought I was ruining. And so this brings us into the subject of this video. And this is something that I believe everybody in Dota needs to hear. I want you guys to start off by asking yourselves a question. How often do you individually do things in your games that are straight up with the intent to ruin the game? Like, you do it because somebody on your team was such a piece of shit that you purposely lose the game for your team. The second question is, how often do you believe when somebody on your team is raging at you that they were having a perfectly happy day, they were a perfectly happy person, and then you single-handedly ruined their day? The reason why I ask you guys these questions is because I believe one of the biggest problems I've always had as a Dota player, and is a huge problem in the entire Dota scene, and why I believe everybody needs to hear it, probably in gaming in general, is that everyone tends to take things too personally. The reason why I asked you those questions is because how often are you doing something that's straight up a personal attack on one of your teammates? And also, how often is somebody on your team who's ruining doing it because they specifically hate you? And I would argue that the majority of Dota players don't think that way. They're not actually doing anything personally against somebody on their team. But yet I believe almost every single time somebody's making a mistake, somebody's playing a way you don't like them to play, that these players take it personally. That I, for an incredibly long time, took it personally. Now, why is it that something that's not done personally would be taken personally? And at the end of the day, it's most likely because a lot of us value our MMR very highly. And we also believe that anybody who's making us lose MMR, we're effectively blaming them and assigning them the personal attack on our MMR. The end of the day, there is no personal attack, guys. A lot of people in your games, whether it be because they had a tough game, maybe they weren't playing very well, albeit they're just bad. You know, that could really just be that simple. I really want to make this video because if it's not personal, don't take it personal, guys. The thing that I think has become such a problem in Dota that makes it unenjoyable for so many people, including the person that's taking it personally, is the fact that people are so upset and judgmental with the way that this person's playing the game. And the reason why I showed you guys the clip of me dying in lane is to show you my own personal experience in the game. I had a really tough game, okay? I had a really rough game. I had to make some serious recovery. And nothing I did was out of spite for my team. I encourage you guys to ask yourselves how often you get pissed at your teammates and take it personally when they make you lose or they are playing bad. I feel like the majority of the time that my teammates are offended with me, I'm trying my best. And I believe that stands true for almost everybody in Dota. And while I may be being redundant, I need this message to be heard as much as possible. I think there's so many people that need to hear it. It's not personal, guys. Don't take it personally. Pretty much everybody is doing what they think is best to win the game. Maybe they're not thinking at all. Maybe they're just bad. Maybe they're having a bad day. All these things could make them play bad, could make them tilt, could make them ruin your game. But none of it, almost none of it, is a personal attack on you. And I highly encourage you guys to reflect on how often you take things personally. It makes the game less enjoyable for you. It makes you play worse. It puts out expectations that are not necessarily in your control, and they also kind of set you up for disappointment. At the end of the day, a lot of us just want to play, myself included. This game's a beautiful game, and a lot of us have the ability to make it unenjoyable for others. And this is not a public service announcement saying that I'm holier than thou. This is not something where I have risen above taking things personally. This is a question that you must constantly reflect on. I find myself still taking certain things personally and having to remind myself not to do so. This isn't like a, nope, I'm fixed, good, positive mental attitude, never have to worry about it again scenario. This is always being mindful and aware of how things are making you feel during the game and how you're interpreting your teammates' actions. A perfect example is when you're a core, say you're a one-position player, and your 5 position messes up in lane. How often is that person purposely trying to ruin your lane compared to they just didn't play the lane correctly? In the past, I would get offended. I would literally say, dude, why are you hitting that guy? Why did you pull? When I could have just said, hey man, I need you to play in the lane with me, not pull. Or hey man, I need you to hit the other guy instead of the guy you're hitting. And this is the kind of thing where it goes both ways. If I take it personally, the guy's going to get defensive, right? If I get mad, if I accuse him of ruining my lane, he's going to get defensive, probably leave or proceed to play worse, one or the other, or, flame me back, and none of that's good for anybody. But then on the other hand, there's some people in the support role who would take that kind of criticism personally. What I need you guys to know is that a lot of Dota players are not very good at communicating. So if somebody does flame you in the middle of the game, the last point of this video is there any merit to what they're saying? Like, say the guy got mad at you for pulling and then you died, or then he died and got dove. Just ask yourself, you know, does he have any merit? If he's tilted, I'll usually mute the guy, but he just didn't want to die, right? He's not actually personally mad at you. He just didn't want to die. So he may think he's mad at you, but he's really just mad that he died. Usually I'll mute the people if they feel like they're really toxic, emotionally charged, flamey types. But before I do that, I really ask, is there any merit to what he said? Sometimes there's not. Sometimes that guy's just bad. Sometimes he messes up. But sometimes you did mess up, right? And that's something in the past that if the guy flamed me, I stopped thinking about whether or not he was right. I got defensive. I took it personally. A lot of times prevented me from being able to ever learn from a situation that was toxic. So now the first question I ask myself is there any validity to what that person is saying? So the message of today's video is don't take things personally. It really comes down to that. I played this pub, we won. Funny thing is, I was vibing, and I watched this game back from my teammates' perspective, and they were all just so mad. I honestly was like, wow, I can't believe how mad they were. First off, I couldn't believe how peaceful the game was once I muted them in comparison to what was actually going on in the game. But man, Dota players, we just have such a habit of ruining our own experience of the game. So thanks for watching, guys. I think this is something a lot of us needed to hear. I wish I had heard it, 5-6 years ago. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye-bye.